Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are checking out another Beasts of the Mesozoic figure, and yes, we are taking a look at another Raptor series figure, because I'm only just now starting to acquire all the many Raptors I missed so many years ago when these initially released, but this time we've got another really cool species, another species that I only have actually a fossil replica of in my collection. I actually don't have any figures of outside of, again, that fossil replica. We've got the Zhenyuanlong, and it looks super nice as always. Beautiful artwork, really nicely showing off some gorgeous plumage on the raptor right there, and of course the plumage and everything, coloration of the figure itself matches nicely to the artwork. If we turn it around, you can also see here on the back, again, a massive checklist as far as all the different Raptor series figures that are out. There is a ton, and I'm starting to get there. We're getting some of these in my collection, not all of them though. I think I might only need about 3 more to really have all the species in the 1/6 scale range, and then I'd have to start working on getting the extras as far as the fans' choice paint jobs and everything. This version was the original, I think, version of this figure, and then, of course, there is also a fan's choice version of it as well. But you can see, again, that beautiful image of the raptor right there, as well as some really nice information and everything on the species down here. And then, of course, if you actually remove the sleeve, it has, like, instructions back there. I don't know if I can actually get it to move over. It's kind of, like, stuck in place, it seems. Yeah, I'm not going to try, but I think that's where the instructions are and everything for applying, the tail and everything. It's like the older instructions. Now you actually get a little slip of paper with it, but I'm pretty sure that's what's hiding back there. Yeah, see, we can kind of see a little sneak peek there of it. But I'm really excited to get this open and check out another of the Raptor series, so let's go ahead and do that right now. So we've got our base, really nice greenish coloration for the base, obviously, showing that this dinosaur is in a nice kind of wooded area. And then we also actually have some extra kind of interchangeable toes for the figure, something you always get with the Raptors. And then our Zhenyuanlong itself, and what a beautiful, wow, that jaw's really stiff. You can tell that jaw hasn't been messed with yet. But what a beautiful model, and look at the feathers here out on the tail, that plumage out on the tail. That's very different from every one of the other Raptors that I've acquired so far. None have had such a very impressive wide tail that I can recall anyway, and really nice coloration in that tail. The sculpt, of course, is phenomenal. Really nice, very highly detailed look for it, and I actually am a huge fan of the coloration of this one as well. I actually wasn't too sure how much I was going to like the colors of this one, and I wasn't all that excited as far as the actual paint scheme goes, but having it here out of the package, it's actually so much nicer than I thought it was going to be. Stand this one up. Oh, nope, that foot's all crooked and bent back there. We've got to at least get the feet in a good standing position. Oh, I just pushed the foot down. Whatever. It's standing like that for right now. But again, I'm always so blown away by the Raptor series figures. Just beyond impressive. So much more impressive, I think, than most people give them credit for. So I'm very excited to continue to have more of these Raptor series figures on my channel for review to remind everybody how beautiful these are. So let's jump straight to a closer look at this one right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our Zhenyuanlong, you can see it looks really nice. Again, we've got some nice texturing to the skin up here in the snout. You can see it for sure on the lower jaw. I like how they've kind of smoothed the detail out here on this one. That's a little bit different than you see on a lot of the other Raptor figures. I also love the coloration that we have here for the face. You can see the nostrils sculpted out very nicely, also highlighted quite nicely with a darker tone, but I like how they have this kind of lighter brown running along the area where the feathers start to pick up, but then you see it darkens to this darker brown as you lead out. That looks really cool. You've also got some nice paintwork there for the eye, as we have some brown kind of bordering around the eye, then yellow and a black pupil. Very nice large black pupil. It also has a very nice gloss coat to it, so it shines quite realistically. Of course, we can open the mouth and you can get a look here at the inside of the mouth. You can see the tongue is sculpted really nicely. Also some nice paintwork there on the inside of the mouth. You can see the teeth are all sculpted and painted very nicely, very precise. The tongue does actually articulate, and you can also see a gloss coat there for the inside of the mouth, so that you have lots of realism going on there for the inside of the mouth of your Zhenyuanlong. The mouth doesn't seem to want to close all the way on this one. You can see it just kind of sits open a little bit. I don't think I've ever had that issue with any of these before, but you can see the mouth doesn't close perfectly on this one. However, again, that might just be maybe some of the glue or something that's stuck in here potentially from, piecing the figure together kind of is like prohibiting it from closing all the way. But you can see the paintwork again looks really good. You've got that black kind of leading down, and I like how it kind of like spots and stuff here into the face in a few different areas. Even if that might be potentially a paint error, I don't know if it's meant to be that way or if it's a paint error. I actually do like it. I think it looks really nice. But as you start to lead back here into the head, you see some more really nice feathering. I love that the feathering gets kind of like bigger and more impressive as you lead up here to the back of the head. It also is a blackish tone, but then we have that nice lighter dry brushing over the top there to really highlight all of the incredible detail of the feathers. As you lead down, you can see how different the feathers look here compared to right there. I love that about these figures, is they always kind of give you difference within the sculpt as far as the feathers go. You often see that on, scaly dinosaurs where you have different style of scales throughout, but it's not often that you see feathered dinosaurs having so much difference when it comes to the feathers, and that's very nice looking. You continue to move down. Again, you have more really nice feathering. Again, very different style of feathers compared to what we see here. As you lead up here toward the back and the shoulder area, you can see we get a little bit more of that nice light dry brushing, but we also start to pick up on these really, really beautiful tones of blues and purples as you move back. There's also a nice dry brushing, again, running along the spinal column of the raptor. But as you lead down here into the arm, again, you can see the very nice looking, very flashy looking coloration and tones of color chosen for the figure. And I love that you can kind of see like the purples creeping in and out of the feathers here, and also, of course, the blues on top of that. Really nice depth to the paint job and really nice coloration, and you continue to have those gorgeous tones as you move down through the course of the arm and you head out into the plumage. You can see that the plumage looks gorgeous out here on the arm, and also the detailing looks really nice in general. But one thing that you can see that we have this nice kind of like a white sort of coloration that highlights all of the feathers, but what that really does, I think, is shows you how impressive the detailing of each and every feather is. Like, that is incredible looking detail, and it's really beautifully highlighted with those lighter tones out here on the arms. But again, as you lead in here, we'll move the arm out. You can see what the arm looks like here from the underside. Really nice looking feathering the entire way out. You've got some nicely sculpted fingers, and then also some nicely painted nails, as we have a nice glossy black. Pretty much the same style of paintwork here for the underside, I think, is what we saw on the outer side. Not exactly the same, but fairly similar as far as the design goes for the underside of the arm and feathers as well. Really nice transition down into that lighter tone where they start to again dry brush some of the detail out. You can see how nice it looks here on the underside as well. Of course, it's a fully feathered raptor. You see lots and lots of feathers everywhere you look. As you lead down here, you can see a little bit of a darker tone, again lightening as we lead toward the back of the thigh. We also have some more dry brushing, and then we get some really kind of heavy dry brushing down here in the calf region of the raptor before we transition down into the lower part of the leg where we return to the skin texture. And there's like a nice mixture of like orangish browns and reddish browns down here in the foot, and it looks super cool the way that they've combined those colors. And again, the detailing is off the charts. That is just awesome looking sculpt and detail. And of course, you have the ability to articulate your toes and everything down here, which is a huge plus for these raptor figures. And then of course we have dew claws. All of the nails sport that nice black with the gloss coat on them, so they shine quite nicely. And then we lead out into what might be the most impressive area of this figure, again maybe the most unique area, and that is the incredibly wide tail that we have with that gorgeous plumage out at the end. And you can see again as we move along, the feather detail is insanely nicely done. You've got some really nice tones again of blues and purples, and you also have whites, and you even have like blacks that run around and stripe through here. And then of course we lighten up out here toward the tip of the tail, just making sure it looks really nice and flashy as we end the tail of the raptor. And you can also see some more hints of those purplish tones as we lead out there. And the underside has a pretty cool striping to it too, actually. Look at that really nice striping running along the underside of the tail, and again some like black dry brushing, but I like how again they've allowed the purple to kind of creep through the black which looks really neat and also helps to make the details stand out very nicely. Of course, the figure as a whole is a fully articulated figure, fully posable figure. You're not going to see too much difference over here, any more so than what we had seen on the other side. Not like with a non-articulated model where it's kind of like, sculpted into a certain position. It's up to you to kind of pose it and display it how you want, so you're not going to see much difference. And again, you can see that everything paint-wise, sculpt-wise looks just as incredible over here as it did on the initial side. And then our base, again, sports a really nice earthy area. We've got some rocks and stuff here around the outer edge, and you can see some twigs on the inside. And also, again, just generally like some nice vegetation, almost giving it kind of like a mossy type of a look is the way I view this. And there's also some nice greens, like variations of greens throughout, which looks super, super cool, and also helps to make the base look just as lifelike and beautiful as the Raptor itself. Pretty much, again, like your classic Raptor series base, which is definitely a good thing. So let's go ahead, pop the Raptor on the base, and check it out from there. As per usual, you have kind of like a little clear plastic rod that will attach to the base for you to help your Raptor to stand, but you also have two different connections that you can use to balance out your Raptor. It's really your call which one you'd prefer. I'm going to use this one, and what we're going to do is just basically pop this in, and you can see it sits in there nice, and it actually articulates. You can see this can move to help you when it comes to your display of the Raptor. And then you have this little kind of ball joint that you pop in there, and now that stands, and that as well can kind of move around a little bit. And again, see, you can position it basically however you would want, and you can twist it and everything, so you can get exactly the position and standing pose that you want for your Raptor. And then, of course, you basically just need to take this gorgeous work of art, the Raptor itself, and then position it here on the base. I don't have like any kind of really cool pose or anything going on. I just basically wanted to show off how it works, but it definitely looks nice on there. But as far as the articulation goes, again, we have the articulated jaw. We also have an articulated tongue. And then as we move here toward the neck, you've got a spot right here, as well as a spot right here, and another spot at the base of the neck, so that you can get your Raptor to turn its head very nicely, have some really nice, poses and positioning for your Raptor, pretty much any position you would like. As you move back a little further, you've got a spot right here, as well as a spot in the midsection, and you can again help to turn your Raptor. Doesn't do too much, but definitely does help to give you a little extra articulation. Mine is also a little stiff, again, as this is straight out of the package, and a lot of the Beasts of the Mesozoic figures are usually a little stiff right out of the packaging, and it takes some time to kind of wear them in, or you could use some hot water or a hairdryer to kind of warm them up and wear them in a little bit quicker. You also have articulation here in the shoulder, as well as the elbow and the wrist as you move out. And you can also, again, pull the arms out to the side so your Raptor can maybe attempt to glide if it chooses to try to. But you also have articulation in the hip, as well as the knee, which is shockingly working really smooth. The knees are usually always like the stiffest area for me when I get one of the Raptor figures, or actually pretty much any figure from the Beasts of the Mesozoic. You've also got articulation right here, as well as right here. Again, the toes, you can pop those toes off to replace them with the other toes, which these toes are just kind of wider apart. The other toes are closer together. And then you also have the articulation of that toe right there. That includes the sickle claw. And then as you move up, you've got a spot of articulation right here, which can swivel very nicely, as well as another spot right here. So two spots right there really quickly. And then you also, again, have a wire tail, so you can position the tail pretty much any way you would choose to help you create pretty much any pose you would choose to. As far as a size goes, if we stand our Raptor up, doesn't have to be standing in any type of a perfect position, because the size really height-wise would depend on you. The length is the only thing that would really stay the same. Actually, that's not even true, because you could technically bend the tail up and shorten the length if you really choose to. But from the snout here to the tip of the tail, you're looking at around 11.5 inches, or about 29 centimeters, maybe a little over. Height-wise to the tip of the tail in its current positioning is about 6 inches, or around 15.5 centimeters. And then height-wise to the back of the neck, as I hit the camera with my arm, a little over 4.25 inches, approaching 4.5, or about 11.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Zhenyuanlong, and it looks really cool with these other figures here next to it. And honestly, when you have a figure this impressive, like, I feel like when I look here at all of these figures together, the one figure that stands out the most absolutely is our Beasts of the Mesozoic figure. And I feel like that is a common trend for this line, as no matter what collection you would enter and look at, if there are Beasts of the Mesozoic figures in that collection, they're probably going to be the standout. And you can definitely see that again here with our Zhenyuanlong. And just like I did with my recent Sagan review for the Beasts of the Mesozoic Raptor series, we've got ourselves the Zuniceratops, which, as far as I know, is one of the most popular from the Ceratopsian series because it's a bit smaller in size, so it was definitely one that many people purchased because the price was a bit lower. Plus, it just looks amazing. It's like really, really nice and flashy as far as the coloration. But this is a figure that I felt like would be a good one to bring in for a size comparison with our 1/6 scale Zhenyuanlong. But one thing to know about the Raptors is most of the Raptors in the 1/6 scale size range are right around the same similar size. Like this one here is, I think, like a ½ inch smaller potentially than the recent Sagan that I had reviewed. So definitely helps to show you again a size if you aren't familiar with the Raptor series. But if you are familiar with those 1/6 scale Raptors, then you should have a pretty good idea roughly as far as what the size is of this one. So this beautiful Beasts of the Mesozoic Raptor series 1/6 scale Zhenyuanlong is awesome, absolutely awesome. And that's never going to be something that is going to change, I think, when it comes to the Beasts of the Mesozoic line, because every single time I get a new Beasts of the Mesozoic figure, I am just completely blown away and impressed to the max when it comes to, of course, the sculpting and also the paintwork. Like, we again have a phenomenal sculpt, incredibly highly detailed, and I love how there's so much difference throughout the figure as far as like the feathers and the way that they appear. Like, when you look at this figure from head to tail, there is so much difference throughout the entire Raptor as far as the way that the feathers appear, and that is just so impressive to me because so many times I've seen kind of feathered dinosaurs and they just give it like that same generic type of feathering throughout, and it could look really nice, but it's just not as lifelike and realistic as what you see here, because the feathers, again, you could tell there's just no laziness to the sculpt. The feathers are incredibly highly detailed when it comes to the fine detail, but it's so impressive to me, again, just how much difference there is throughout the entire sculpt as far as the style of feathers overall. The paint job, of course, is incredible. We've got some really nice, really flashy tones of color. All of it is very nicely and very naturally applied. They, as always, do a great job of really highlighting how nice the sculpt is with the way that they apply the paintwork, and they've done it again here with this Zhenyuanlong and given it a paint scheme that 100% looks realistic and natural on the dinosaur, something I could without question see this animal being in real life, which is always a huge, huge plus. And then you, of course, have articulation, and that's one of the most appealing aspects to the Beasts of the Mesozoic line, is giving you that action figure style dinosaur with loads of articulation, and no Beasts of the Mesozoic figures are as articulated, so far anyway, as the Raptor series figures are. There is just articulation for days in these guys, and you can see that as we took that closer look at the articulation. It is just loaded with really nice, really smooth articulation overall. Of course, you also have a really nice base, which helps to replicate the area where this dinosaur would live, and it looks really, really good, really nice, really high quality, just like the Raptor itself. Also some nice paintwork applied to it, where they've done a great job of, again, adding numerous tones of color to really bring it to life. So another fantastic release from the Beasts of the Mesozoic, one I very much so highly recommend. So if you are interested in picking one of these guys up for yourself, make sure you check the link in the description that I will include straight to the Beasts of the Mesozoic website where I purchased mine. Go grab yourself this beautiful Zhenyuanlong, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe before you do, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.